Okay, so imagine this. You've got this research assistant, right? And they can like plow through thousands of pages in just minutes.
Whoa.
And then they give you this perfectly organized report.
Nice.
It's kind of what we're looking at today.
Yeah.
That's Google's Gemini Deep Research.
Yeah.
It's this AI tool that can summarize information from a ton of sources.
Right.
And we're not talking about just like a few articles here.
No.
This thing has a context window of 1 million tokens.
Huge.
You know what that means?
What's that mean?
It can process something like 1,500 pages of text all at once.
Serious.
Pretty wild.
Right.
So in this deep dive, we're going to explore how this thing actually works.
Okay.
What it could mean for websites, especially if you depend on things like ad revenue or affiliate links.
Right.
And what we can all do to kind of adapt to this whole crazy world of information that's changing so fast.
It is remarkable technology.
Yeah.
And yeah, the potential impact
Huge.
on how we find and consume information is really fascinating.
Yeah, so before we get into all that, let's break down exactly how Gemini Deep Research works.
Right.
I'm thinking of it kind of like a superpowered research librarian.
Yeah.
Am I on the right track?
That's actually a great analogy.
Okay.
Think of it this way. You give Gemini a question or a research topic you want to explore,
Okay.
and then it creates the step-by-step plan to tackle that research.
Interesting.
Like outlining the sources, it will consult, the different angles it will explore.
So it's not just like randomly grabbing information.
Yeah, not at all.
There's actually like thought and structure behind how it does things.
Exactly. And here's the really cool part. You can look over this plan before Gemini actually starts its research.
Oh, interesting.
You can even make changes or tweaks if you want it to focus on specific areas.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not just a black box,
Right.
spitting out data. There's a level of user control involved.
Okay. That makes me feel a bit better.
Yeah.
To know you can actually guide its research makes it seem less intimidating.
Sure.
But once you give it the green light, then what happens?
Then Gemini goes to work.
Great.
It dives into all those sources and analyzes everything it finds.
Why?
And then generates a report for you.
So like a summary.
Yeah, it could include summaries, recommendations, even pros and cons, depending on what you're researching.
Okay.
Wow.
So it really is like having a personal research team at your fingertips.
Precisely. And the applications are pretty diverse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for instance, entrepreneurs could use it for competitor analysis.
Like how?
Say you're launching a new product.
Okay.
You could ask Gemini to research your competitors,
Uh-huh.
analyze their strengths and weaknesses, and provide you with a concise report.
So rather than me spending hours like scouring the internet,
Yeah.
compiling all that information myself,
Forget about it.
I could just have Gemini do all that for me.
Exactly. And marketers could use it for things like benchmarking advertising campaigns,
Oh, wow.
analyzing trends,
Okay.
getting a better understanding of their target audiences.
Yep. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how powerful this could be.
Yeah.
Our sources mentioned a really interesting example.
Okay.
The idea of blender research.
All right.
Imagine you're trying to buy a new blender.
Sure.
Instead of going to like 10 different websites, reading tons of reviews, trying to compare all the features,
Yeah, that's a pain.
you could just ask Gemini Deep Research to do all of that for you.
Makes it easy.
So it would pull in all the blender reviews from like across the web,
Yeah,
figure out what people like and dislike about each model,
exactly.
and then give me just a simple report summarizing everything.
Exactly. It could even offer personalized recommendations based on your needs.
So like if I mainly use my blender for smoothies,
Yeah,
it would focus on like blenders that are good at making smoothies.
exactly. If you're crushing ice for cocktails, it would focus on models with powerful motors.
That's pretty amazing. No more endless scrolling through Amazon reviews. But here's where I start to wonder,
Okay.
what happens to websites like, say, blenderreviews.com? If people aren't actually visiting those websites anymore,
Sure.
that could be a big problem, right?
Potentially.
Especially if their entire business model depends on attracting visitors and getting ad revenue or affiliate clicks.
You're right. That's a huge question.
Yeah.
And it brings up some potentially major implications for websites in a world where AI can summarize, vast amounts of information.
Yeah. So how do websites adapt to this new reality?
Well, that's something we're going to unpack next.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about like that whole Blender research scenario and how it could impact websites
All right.
that are making money from ads or affiliate links.
Yeah.
So imagine you run a website that's all about in-depth Blender reviews. You've got comparisons, user ratings, the whole shebang.
Okay.
What happens when Gemini comes along
Right.
and basically cuts you out of the equation?
That's a very real concern.
Yeah,
I mean, if someone can just get all that information straight from an AI,
right.
Why would they even bother going to a dedicated review site?
Right, like, is there even a point anymore?
And it doesn't just apply to Blender reviews.
Right.
We're talking about any website that relies on traffic and user engagement to generate revenue.
Okay.
Think like product comparison sites, news aggregators, anything that curates information.
So it makes you wonder, are these websites going to become
obsolete?
Yeah, like obviously like those dusty encyclopedias on the shelf that nobody uses anymore?
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
And it kind of highlights this bigger shift that's happening with AI-powered search. Traditional SEO.
Yeah.
The way websites optimize their content to rank higher in search results might not be as effective in a world where AI is understanding user intent on a deeper level.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, like those old tricks of keyword stuffing and link building, the stuff that used to get you to the top of Google won't work as well with these AI search engines.
Exactly. These AI search engines are prioritizing natural language and understanding the context of a user's query. They're trying to figure out what you actually want to know, not just match keywords. So websites will need to focus on creating high-quality content that answers specific questions and provides real value to the user.
It's interesting you mentioned that because one of our sources highlighted how younger generations are already moving away from traditional search engines.
Really?
They're turning to platforms like TikTok and Instagram to find information and make decisions.
Interesting.
So is it possible that AI-powered search is just accelerating this trend?
It's certainly a possibility.
Wow.
Yeah, it paints a picture of a future where the way we access information is much more fragmented.
Fragmented, like how?
Instead of like one dominant search engine, we might have multiple specialized AI tools for different needs.
So instead of Googling it, you might Gemini it for in-depth research, but then turn to something else for quick answers or like visual inspiration.
Precisely. And this means websites can't just rely on one channel for traffic anymore. They need to think about a multi-channel strategy.
Like what kinds of things?
Engaging on social media, building email lists, forming partnerships. It's all about diversifying your audience reach.
So there's a lot for website owners to consider here. But stepping back for a moment. While this all sounds incredibly convenient from a user standpoint, I have to admit, I'm a little uneasy about relying solely on AI-generated summaries.
I can understand that it's like anything else. We need to use these tools responsibly and not blindly accept everything they tell us.
Exactly. I mean, would you blindly trust everything an AI tells you?
Probably not.
What about potential biases or inaccuracies in the data it's using to create these summaries?
Those are valid concerns. One of our sources cited research highlighting potential inaccuracies with these large language models, especially when they're dealing with huge data sets and long contexts. They can struggle to accurately understand and reason over all that information, which can lead to incomplete or even misleading summaries.
So it's not a perfect system?
Not at all.
By any means? Sounds like there are some kinks to work out.
Yeah, for sure.
What are some potential solutions or policies that could address these concerns?
There are a few ideas being discussed. One is requiring these AI search engines to clearly label any content that's been generated by AI.
Oh, interesting.
So users know exactly what they're looking at.
Transparency.
Another is establishing clear guidelines for how these AI tools can use and summarize content from websites, ensuring proper attribution and avoiding situations where they're essentially stealing content and profiting from it.
It seems like there should also be some kind of support system for the websites that are negatively impacted by these changes. After all, these are often small businesses, individual creators who are trying to make a living online. What happens to them if their traffic dries up?
That's an important point. Some experts are suggesting things like creating a fund to help these websites adapt their content strategies.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe providing grants or training programs to help them transition to new business models. We need to remember that there are real people and livelihoods potentially at stake here.
Absolutely. It feels like we're at a crossroads. This technology has the potential to be incredibly beneficial. But we need to make sure we're not leaving people behind in the process.
It's a fascinating dilemma, isn't it?
It is.
How do we harness the power of AI while ensuring fairness and ethical considerations are addressed?
Well, we've talked about the potential downsides of AI-powered research, but let's flip the script for a moment. What can websites do to adapt and thrive in this new landscape? What are some concrete steps they can take?
There are several strategies they can implement.
Yeah.
One of the most important things is to focus on creating high-quality, in-depth content that provides real value to the user. Think about what AI can't easily replicate.
So basically double down on what makes human-created content unique and valuable.
Exactly. Emphasize the human element.
Okay.
Share personal experiences, expert opinions, unique insights.
Okay.
AI can summarize facts and figures.
Right.
But it can't replicate genuine human insight or creativity.
So it's about showcasing your expertise, your unique perspective on the topic.
Yeah.
I like that. What else can websites do?
Another interesting approach is to actually optimize your content for AI.
Wait, optimized for AI?
Yeah.
That seems a bit counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Why would I want to make it easier for AI to summarize my content?
Think of it this way.
Okay.
By structuring your content in a way that AI algorithms can easily understand.
Okay.
You increase the chances that your content will be accurately summarized and presented to users.
Okay.
This could mean using clear headings, concise summaries, and bullet points to make it easier for the AI to digest the information.
Okay. I see the logic there.
Right.
If you're going to get summarized anyway, you might as well make sure it's done accurately and in a way that reflects well on your website.
Exactly. Another key strategy is building a loyal audience.
So it's not just about attracting random visitors.
Right.
It's about cultivating a community around your website.
Exactly.
People who genuinely value your content and keep coming back for more.
Precisely. You can do this through personalized communication, engaging with your audience on social media, offering exclusive content or behind-the-scenes insights.
It's about building relationships, not just transactions.
Yeah.
And I imagine diversifying your traffic sources is more important than ever, right?
Absolutely.
Can't just rely on Google searches anymore.
You got to explore social media marketing, email marketing partnerships with other websites or influencers.
Okay.
The more diverse your traffic sources, the less reliant you are on any single platform, including those driven by AI.
And lastly, it seems like the need to constantly adapt and evolve is paramount in this environment.
Absolutely. Keep a close eye on your website analytics. Monitor traffic patterns, user behavior, and identify any negative impacts from AI updates.
Okay.
Be willing to experiment with new strategies and adjust your approach as needed.
So it's not a set it and forget it type of thing.
No, not at all.
It's an ongoing process of learning and adaptation.
Exactly.
So in a nutshell, the message here is adapt or be left behind.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
The digital landscape is constantly shifting.
Right.
And those who embrace change and find innovative ways to leverage new technologies will be the ones who thrive.
Okay, I like that. It's amazing how much we've covered today.
I know, right?
We started talking about Gemini Deep Research.
Yeah, this AI tool that can analyze mountains of information.
Yeah, and give us summaries and recommendations.
Exactly.
Then we explored how it might affect websites.
Right, especially those that rely on ads or affiliate links.
And finally, we talked about how those websites can adapt.
Right.
And actually thrive in this new AI-driven world.
It's been a journey.
Yeah, it really has.
It's like we've peeked into the future of information.
Yeah.
And the truth is, things are changing so fast.
Right.
But as we discussed, it's not about fearing the changes, it's about understanding them.
Right.
And figuring out how to navigate them.
Exactly. When I first heard about this AI that can summarize 1,500 pages, I was a little intimidated.
Sure.
But this deep dive has actually made me feel more optimistic.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective.
It is.
There are challenges ahead, but there are also incredible opportunities.
Exactly. So let's recap what we learned.
Okay.
First, we explored how Gemini Deep Research works.
Right.
It's like having that super-powered research assistant that can analyze tons of information and give us those key takeaways.
Right. Imagine you're researching a new product or trying to get up to speed on a complex topic.
Right.
Gemini can just do the heavy lifting for you.
Exactly.
Right.
We also talked about the impact on websites.
Yeah.
If people are getting the information they need straight from AI.
Yeah. It'd lead to less traffic for some websites.
Especially those that rely on providing summaries or comparisons.
Right. But we also discussed ways those websites can adapt.
Yeah.
It's about creating that high-quality, human-centered content that AI just can't replicate.
Exactly.
Think in-depth analysis, original research, or personal stories that showcase your expertise.
Your unique perspective.
Right, and we explored other research tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity.
It's good to have options.
It is.
Right, and not just rely on one source.
I know, I'll be checking those out.
Cool.
So for you listening, remember, AI is changing how we access information.
It is.
But the key is to adapt.
Right.
And use these tools responsibly, both as creators and consumers of information.
Well said. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave you with a question.
Okay.
If AI can summarize 1,500 pages like that,
yeah,
what does that mean for the future of reading and learning? That is a great question. It makes you think about how we engage with information when AI can do so much of the processing for us.
It does, but remember, AI is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Sure.
The future is really up to us.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Gemini Deep Research.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little thought-provoking.